What is up, everybody? Lockie White here, and welcome back to another video. Today's video I'm super excited about. I've put a heap of time into it, and it's one of my favorite things to talk about, and that is the best way for beginners to get started on Amazon FBA. Now, this is your first kind of Amazon video. Amazon FBA just stands for Fulfillment by Amazon. So what that means is you're going to be finding or designing a product and sending it to Amazon, and then they're going to do the fulfillment. So they'll send the product out and they'll deal with the customer care and the returns and everything, and you don't have to take part of that side of it at all. It's one of the best ways to get started in e-commerce because you don't have to take care of that fulfillment side, and you can really just focus in on your creative and what it means to design a good product. Now, back in the good old days when Amazon first came out in America and people started discovering you could make money on it, you could just go to Alibaba or some Chinese supplier website, pick a product and whack it on Amazon, and it would go to the races and you'd make heaps of money. But unfortunately, if you want to sell in Amazon America now, you have to be a bit more creative and find a way to differentiate if you want to make money in the space. However, there is an opportunity at the moment that is very similar to the good old days, which is what we're going to be talking about today, and why it's such a great opportunity to learn the system and to get in early as a beginner. If you guys get some value from today's video, it would help me out so much if you could hit that subscribe button and hit the like button. It's totally free. And if you feel like you want to learn more about how to do product research or how to launch a product on Amazon for an inexpensive amount, we have a training down below that you can click the link to. It's completely free, where I go into more depth on how to really find a good product and how you can go about launching it. But let's get into this exciting new strategy. So if you've followed any of my content for a bit, you'll know, of course, I'm talking about Amazon Australia. Now, before you jump to any conclusions, all the strategies we're going to be talking about today, you can apply to any Amazon marketplace. The reason I talk about Amazon Australia so much is because, one, it's a new marketplace. Amazon Australia has only been going for about 3 years, I think now, of which of those 3 years, it started off incredibly slow. It came to Australia and none of the Australians really took a liking to it, but Amazon still stuck around. They put their roots in. They built, they now have the biggest warehouse in Australia. And they started getting sellers on there and encouraging people. At first, and this will come into play later, it was just a lot of people who had stock in America who said, hey, we'll just be a seller in Australia, and they're shipping their stock from America. And Amazon's trying their hardest to now get Australians who live here to sell stock as well. But after that initial slow start, Amazon has really started to take off at a rapid rate. I think it was a year or a year and a half ago, they hit their $2 billion in revenue. And since then, they've continued to explode. I believe if you compare it to Amazon US, it's planned to grow to a third of the size of Amazon America. I think Amazon America, by itself, just the company Amazon in America, is what it does in revenue is the same as our top 10 biggest retailers. So you think like Woolworths, Bunnings, Kmart, Coles, those top 10 combined are still under half of what Amazon America does. So it's this absolute giant beast that you get to go in to partner with as they're setting down their roots in Australia. And then the other reasons that it's such a great opportunity is that, two, there's extremely low competition because it's still in its early days and it's not doing these huge crazy numbers all over the place. There's not as many people going to sell there. So if you go in with a good product and a good offer, it's much, much easier for you to make some money. In some of the niches, it's even at the point, as we're going to go into, where you can just take products from other places and put them in, and you'll already be doing better than 99% of the market. And then third reason why it's such a great opportunity is because the PPC costs are so low. So pay per click, or it's like any type of advertising, is at such low cost because there's nearly no one bidding for any of the advertisement spots. So overall, at the moment, Amazon Australia is definitely the best place for anyone who's wanting to get into e-commerce of any sort to put their toes in the water and feel it out and start to grow a little business that's going to bring them in money every 2 weeks. Even if it's just an extra $100 every 2 weeks, what sort of difference would that make for you? Would that cover your car repayments? Would that start to go towards your rent? What if you then got a couple of these products going and it became $1,000 every 2 weeks? Or $5,000? That's home repayments, groceries, and car repayments. That sort of money is life-changing money, and as you get better and better, you can start to build up to what some other people do, like $10,000, $100,000, and I even know people who do millions of dollars on Amazon. So let's get into the deep dive with the strategies, and hopefully this will be something that you can go through as well. So of course, the most important part of starting an e-commerce business is the product research or finding a good product. For Amazon FBA, that's pretty much 80% of the whole process, is doing your product research, ensuring it's going to abide by the guidelines and that it's going to sell. And then because Amazon take care of so much of the other parts, it really leaves you to be the creative and focus in on that product research. So we have the lucky opportunity of being in Amazon Australia, so we can aim for smaller and lighter products. In the US, pretty much all the niches of items that are smaller and lighter, meaning they're really cheap to ship, have been saturated. There's lots of people selling in them, so there's hardly any room for you to go in on it at all. But here in Australia, that's not the case. With some of the niches, there's only a couple people selling in there, so you're able to go in, get these lighter products, meaning they're going to be much, much cheaper for you to source at the start. They're probably going to have a lower MOQ, which is your minimum order quantity. And that shipping cost, which is going to be your third overall cost, is going to be much cheaper for you as well. So our first and easiest method is if you have a research software. I always recommend either ZonGuru or Helium 10. I'm using ZonGuru here today, and we're going to jump into my computer because both of them have a niche finder tool. For ZonGuru, it's called the Niche Finder, and then for Helium 10, I think it's the Black Box. I think that's what it's called, but you'll see here, it's very similar. And so you come in, and I've already got ours loaded up, but you'll see this part here will be blank. And then what you do is you select your marketplace, and for us to start, we want to select the US. So we select the US marketplace, and then you select your categories. These are the 6 best categories that I believe that you should start in, especially for beginners. So there's no intergestible things and there's no electronics or moving parts, which are the easiest things that you're going to have issues with when you're wanting to sell. So baby products, home and kitchen, kitchen and dining, patio, lawn and garden, pet supplies, sports and outdoors. It's your best place to start, and all of those areas still make lots of money, so they're win-win. So you select those, and then we want to hit the easy starter tab because we're just looking for products that aren't going to cost a lot and aren't doing a huge amount of sales each month. They've still got a decent amount of profit margin and doing good revenue each month. So if we hit search here, it would load up these results that I've already got. Then I filter them by niche score, as that allows you to see the ones that are the best average of all the ratios at the top, being like your search volume, how much revenue, how strong your competition is, and your search volume, I think is the other one. So we can scroll down here and you can see there's lots of different options. You click one and opens it up, shows you some of the competition and who's already selling, what their ratings are, what kind of sales they're doing. And so you can come down and click whichever ones you like. And if you go over here, you see one you like, oh, vintage bells, let's have a look. You can click on the side and click the little Chrome extension button, and it'll bring it up on Amazon. So you can see what the listings are doing, and then when the Chrome extension loads, as it is now, you can see the exact numbers and if it's a good product for you. So that's a good way to find niches where there's opportunity, but the key pointer for it is we want to find something that does really well on Amazon America and then see if it's on Amazon Australia. So I've got an example for you here, which is dryer balls. So this is in Amazon US. I just have to put it's my old address from ages ago there. So we can see here dryer balls. They're like an eco-friendly product that you can use instead of constantly buying dry detergent, I believe. You put them in with your dryer and it helps keep your clothes fluffy, and I've never used them, but they seem cool. And as you come down here, you can see there's lots of differentiated one, little hedgehogs. There's some ones with animals here, which are really cool. Heaps of different ones, right? And if we get up our Chrome extension, we can see that there's several, I believe there's a couple there doing hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, and others doing multiple tens of thousands a month. So there's some really good numbers in there. And if we think back to earlier, we can sort of picture that whatever the numbers are that are happening on Amazon US, Amazon Australia should grow to around a third of that. So if a product's doing $100,000 a month, we can kind of assume that on Amazon Australia, it's going to grow to roughly about $30,000 a month. Okay? Alrighty, so as we can see here, there's a product there doing $550,000 a month, several doing $90,000 to $355,000. So there's a heap of money to be made in this niche. And it's got a decent price point. There's a couple of cheaper ones. But if you were to do like a more premium brand, like you can see some of them here, you can go for a higher price as well. That one's $32. Some of the nicer, more animal ones, you can see they're a little bit more expensive. So now let's jump over to Amazon Australia for the same niche, dryables, and see what we have. I've got it loaded up here already, and we can see that it's immediately much more basic. There's a lot of just plain white ones, plain spiky ones. There's those hedgehogs again. Couple of sheep there, but nothing like all the animal ones that there were before. See, only a couple. There's all these odd ones in there that look nowhere near as good. So you could easily come back over here and say, hey, I'm going to do something like this with all the different animals. Maybe I'm going to make one like these bees like they had, or I'm going to do an elephant or a polar bear. You could just go and work with a product designer and say, hey, I want to design a super cute little dryable. Like, what can we do? So take one of these, and you can take it straight across onto Amazon Australia, and then you're going to already have this really good product. And then as the more and more sales going to come in, you're going to have fortified that top spot and start to take those sales. Like we saw, there were ones that are doing $550,000. Even a third of that is still huge, huge money. And then from here, we want to find a supplier. So we want to look on Amazon Australia, and we can see here that the average amount of sales is 25. The top seller at the moment sells 78 products a month. So we would probably need maybe, we wouldn't need more than 80. Most of the time in your first month, you're not going to outsell the top seller. So you could probably get away with 80, see how your sales are going, and then reorder if you need to. But we're thinking around 80, okay, as we're looking for a supplier. And so we can come across here to Alibaba, and I've already typed in dryables. So you come to one of these supplier sites and search for what you're looking for. And we're going to scroll down, and we can see here that there's a heap of suppliers that have really low MOQs. We can see here 6 pieces, 6 pieces again. So that means we can order a minimum of 6 pieces of these products. 100 pieces, that's not even too bad. 2,000 might be a bit big. 100, 100, 100. So if we do some quick maths here, all you have to do is show them the pictures of what you're after, what you want them to look like. And then let's say the average seems to be...
Could you try again?
Shh, Siri. The average seems to be about 30,000. So if we get up our calculator, we can go, not 30,000, 30 cents. It's an expensive dryable. But if we got, let's say 80 of them, 80 times 0.3, that's only $24 for 80 of those. That's not including shipping. Or if you wanted to get 100 for a more round number, $30. So your only capital you're going to need upfront is $30 to get a spot and to start selling. That's the most important spot. And if you're finding, you'd want to come along and message all of these suppliers here. If you go along and you find that you're struggling, you see this little button down here, request for quotation. So if you click that, and you can actually go into a more advanced one, you put in the name of the product you want, how many you're looking for. So we would go, let's say 100, you put in a description. So I would say, hey, I'm looking for looking to design some animal dryballs with some different colors to make them differentiate. I've attached some photos of some examples. Please let me know what your quote would be for us to work together and do something like this. Then you hit submit RFQ, and then all of those suppliers come to you and they submit to you their best quotation. Of course, you can negotiate if you'd like, but they will submit it to you so you don't have to go out and chase everyone else up. And then when dealing with the supplier as well, especially on a smaller order, you'll always want to ask for a quote on shipments as well. You'll probably be able to get away with really fast air shipment because it's such a light and small product. You really want to get that quote because if you have to deal with a freight forwarder, if they would take a smaller shipment like Lucky Lucky or Worldcraft Logistics, it'd be good to be able to compare that price because most of the time with a much smaller order, it's going to be much, much cheaper to just go with your supplier. So you found a good product niche, you found a good design, and now you found a supplier. All that's left to get is your branding done. So for your first time around, you want to get your logo done, especially if you want that on your packaging. All you have to do is go to Fiverr. You come into Fiverr here and you type logo design. When I've used this in the past, I'm pretty sure there's ones there for like $10, $20 you can get super cheap, especially if you're just starting out. Mine's in Australian dollars, so it's around 37 is super cheap. For getting you started, there's definitely cheaper ones in there. But you get a logo done. If you want to spend a little bit more, you can work with a packaging designer. You can do that here on Fiverr, as you can see. There's some cheaper ones. Or I always like to do things that are take a bit more work, like packaging designing through Upwork. So you just go on there, and again, it's like the RFQ on Alibaba, except you post a job and you say, hey, I'm looking for a packaging designer, and because it's your first time and you want to get it a little bit cheaper, I would include in the description, hey, this is our first product that we're looking to work with a freelancer on. As it's our first product, our budget is a little bit smaller, but we're looking to build a connection and a relationship with a freelancer so that we can continue to work together down the track. And a lot of the time that promise, and of course you want to, if you work well with them, go through with that, but that promise of creating a relationship freelancers will be willing to give you a little bit of a discount being your first time and that relationship so that they get that repeat business down the track. And then the last part of your branding that you'll need just to get started is going to be your images. And again, that's a bit more of a complex task. You can go through Fiverr, but I would recommend posting a job on Upwork as you're going to get better quality talent and still get it at a competitive price. So then you've sent your stock to Amazon, it's in there, it gets live, and now you're selling. And hey, you're making a bit of money, you're advertising with your PPC, people are buying it, and you're like, man, I've got this money, what do I do with it now? And the most important thing for growing your business, even if it's a little side hustle, is to reinvest in the business. And so your 4 most important things you should reinvest in order is firstly, more stock. So you need to reinvest your money to make sure you stay in stock, because as soon as you run out of stock, your organic listing is going to drop down, and then it's going to drop down more until you get back in stock. So if someone comes on and they search dryer balls and yours is out of stock and they would have really liked yours, it doesn't matter. Amazon's not going to show it. It's not going to let them buy it, and your ranking is going to slowly drop. So you have to make sure you're staying in stock and you're reinvesting to get more stock each time. So if you bought 100 on the first one, you sold them out, maybe the next one you want to get 200, or jump all the way up to 500 if you're selling really well. It's just making sure you're building that business for more and more growth. The second most important thing that you should then invest in is brand registry for the product. If it's doing well, you want to put a trademark on the brand name, because then that opens up a whole new revenue of advertising for you. And it then leads into our number 3, which is your A+ content and a video for the product. You can't have either of these 2 things until you're brand registered, and they will skyrocket your conversions. So if your product's already doing well and you're making profit, you really want to invest in things that are going to make it sell better so that you can make that more money, more conversions while you're not there doing the work. And then lastly, the 4th most important thing to reinvest your money in is expanding the product range. So once you've got that one product down, you've got the videos, you've got the enhanced brand content, you're able to keep reordering stock, then you can look at getting a second product in. So you're starting to build the brand bigger. And once you get a 3rd product or a 4th and a 5th, maybe you're eventually hitting that $5,000 or $10,000 a month, then you can start looking at even selling the brand, which is something we'll leave for another video, but that's where the big life-changing dollars are. And just like that, you have all the knowledge you need to start your own e-commerce product this year. Now, I can only give you the knowledge. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. I've just given you the water. Now you have to drink. Go out there and get started. You're only going to learn by going in and doing it. And the whole point of this is that it's inexpensive. You start off small. If it works, grow the business, make it bigger. If it doesn't, you've only lost like $100 and you can go in and start again. If you guys need more training or you feel you want to know more about picking good products or how to properly launch your product once you've got it all going, I have a free training down below where I have more time to teach you and show you more and give you more free resources. So make sure you go sign up for our next web class. I run one every single week so that I can help as many people as I can. But thank you guys so much for listening. I wish you all the luck in the world. And remember, you're only one product away from changing your life. Have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.